What is going down, sourdough squad? Check, check. Mic check 1, 2. Hello, anyone home? You already know the vibes. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat right now because, as you know, we were just doing a stream and they clapped my mic. Kyle must have went in and snipped the cords. He's like, nope, get this guy out of here. Let me know that you guys can hear me in the chat. Yes, thank you. Finally, well, you can hear me. So now that you can hear me, we're going to continue the conversation that we were having. We'll do a little recap of today so far. Uh, man, Kyle said, "Get this ginger out of here." We got enough gingers on the squad with Jake Brendel and now Sam Darnold. Get this guy out of here. Uh yeah, I tried a lot of different things, but hey, whatever. We're back. The show goes on. You know this isn't the first time we've had technical difficulties here. So we're going to just keep talking about 49ers football. Let's reset the mood, shall we? The San Francisco 49ers just signed slot corner Isaiah Oliver. It was just reported, I saw from Nick Wagner, that this is a 2-year deal, which is pretty solid. And he went on to say that the reasoning for Isaiah only playing in 16 games over the last 2 years is because he suffered a torn ACL in 2021. So a bit of an injury prospect, but still shows uh, quite strong athletic ability. So obviously, the last couple years he's been rebounding from an ACL, but like we talked about, Isaiah Oliver, I think, was really highly ranked. I think 12th overall cornerback in the NFL. So, hey, we got us a slot corner to come in and compete with Samuel Womack. So Jimmy Ward leaves, Isaiah Oliver joins the squad and is going to come in and compete right away. And he's got a lot of upside, a lot of talent. And because it is a 2-year deal, I am not imagining this is going to be a big, hefty, crazy type contract. So the 49ers get younger, they get cheaper, but there's still upside with the position. So ultimately, pretty good signing. What do you guys feel about that? Let's grade the pick. We didn't get around to that, unfortunately, on the other stream because it cut out on us. Uh, and yes, you have to, unfortunately, smash the like button again. But let's grade this. Let's grade it, shall we? So drop your grades in the chat for this particular signing. Again, we know it's a 2-year deal. He is 26 years old. He is a former second round draft pick out of Colorado. He runs a 4.5 40. And again, he had an ACL injury in 2021, but he still played a total of 349 snaps last year, and he had a 72.2 coverage grade. So, based on first glance, seems all right. Seems pretty good. Let's see what the chat's talking about. Chat saying C, B, C, B, C, C plus or B minus, B minus. I know you all saw me sign language. I was trying to sign and it just escaped me right off the bat. B, C plus, B, 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 C plus, B. Oh, we got an A. There we go. C, C plus. J21 says the ACL worries me. B, A minus. Malcolm says I like our signings. This particular one, I say B plus. Overall, I give us A plus in terms of off-season acquisitions. Would be B plus or A minus without the ACL. B minus. Charlene says she doesn't really know about the player, but seems good. B minus. So yeah, I think where everyone's currently sitting at, I don't have any problems with that. Um, I'm kind of with Charlene a little bit. I know who he is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I watch Atlanta Falcons defense. So I haven't watched a whole lot of him. I hopped on, try to search up a couple clips just so I could pull some traits off him. I got a little traits profile on him from watching a couple plays. He seems athletic. He seems like a guy who would play really well around the line of scrimmage. And has the ability to move, and he's picked off Jimmy Garoppolo. I think I've seen that highlight going around quite a bit. So last year, when the Atlanta Falcons beat us, he was responsible for an interception off Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would agree with you guys. I'm sitting there. I would say if I'm feeling generous, a B. But I think C plus, B minus. I think that's fair. I think that's fair because it's a bit, yeah, we don't I don't really know that all that much, so I'm not even gonna pretend. Uh, apparently Atlanta fans are not happy that they lost Oliver, so appears to be a potential fan favorite. So it'll be interesting. Someone said, Brad, is Jason Verrett coming back? I would not assume so. I think with the severity of his injury, I don't think he's going to come back at this point. I think Jason Verrett, his time with the team is over. Unfortunately, I've talked about it before. I wouldn't mind him coming back as a coach, but I think as a player, and again rehabbing one more time, I just think the 49ers just might need to move on from that one, unfortunately. Love JV though. Great teammate, great player. Um, but ultimately, I still got more tape. I got to do tape study on Oliver to just really have a more solidified take on what I think about him. But first glance, looks all right. Looks all right. Not the splashy move in Slay, but he looks all right. The 49ers also made the move to get Clellan Farrell today. I've talked about this before earlier, but I'll say it again because we're recapping it. I like this move. I think this move is sneaky, one of those sneaky good Arden Key-esque type moves. Just one of those under the radar. No one has a lot of expectation. There was expectation on this player at one point. Goes to the Raiders. The Raiders are the Raiders and don't know how to develop anyone to save their lives. And the 49ers take them in and put some polish on them, teach them a thing or two, and then all of a sudden we have a bona fide NFL player. So Clellan is already a bona fide NFL player, but I think there's a potential to kind of push him more towards the top 5 pick uh, potential that people once saw in him. So I'm pretty good on that one and all that good stuff. Who would I rather have? Slayer Gardner Johnson. This is actually an easy question for me because now I feel like I've watched some Gardner Johnson enough to feel very comfortable in this answer. I'm taking Gardner Johnson hands down. Not even close. Uh Again, I started watching Hargrave this morning, flipped on the tape, and Gardner Johnson is flying around. Within the first 3 minutes, made 3 plays. One behind the line of scrimmage. Then he gets an interception midfield. He's flying everywhere. I was like, oh, I was like, I had to apologize. I was like, clearly I wasn't familiar with your game. But yeah, he looks pretty damn good. And if the 49ers, I would imagine he'll be a little pricey. But if they want to go get him, that would be interesting. It would, because he got some dog in him. He got some dog in him. So uh they got Get Back at a very reasonable price. If you got Gardner Johnson too, shoot. That would be a pretty solid corner defensive back. Let me say this again: a solid safety room. If those were your three safeties in Hufanga, Gardner Johnson, and Gibson, so that would be pretty interesting. Any word on Brandon Ayuk? No, there's nothing, but there really isn't anything to begin with. The only thing that we're really waiting for is the San Francisco 49ers to let us know if and when they are picking up his 5th-year option. So with Brandon Ayuk, we're just waiting for the 5th-year option to be picked up and for that to be announced. I would imagine they're going to do it. I don't think there's much question if they should do it. They should 100% pick up his 5th-year option, but it just hasn't been officially announced just yet. The 49ers just officially announced the signing of Jake Brendel. Good to have Jake back. Good to have Jake back in the mix for the San Francisco 49ers. Let's see. Any chance we bring back Robbie Gould? I think there is a chance, according to the beat reporters. I think one beat reporter, Matt Barrows, called it a 50-50% chance that he comes back. It all depends on money at the end of the day. Just feels like Robbie still wants the check, and I'm not sure the 49ers are ready to do it. They've given him a lot of money in the past. Maybe it's time to get younger and cheaper at the position. So we'll see. Also, still no still no contract details on Clelin Farrell, which is interesting. That we haven't got that out yet. But it will be very interesting to see how that progresses forward. Let's see now. So again, only the 49ers have been pretty quiet today. They've made some moves. No real splash moves or anything like that. Okay. Damn, all my technology is failing me right now. My phone is completely frozen. That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, thank you. Whoo! Technology ain't on my side today, ladies and gentlemen. So the other news that we got today is the San Francisco 49ers decided to not tender Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, which makes him effectively a unrestricted free agent. The 49ers could have had the opportunity to control his rights and potentially match any contract that was given to him, but they opted not to do that. So DFF becomes a free agent and can sign anywhere. So it doesn't seem like Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, who has been one of the better special teamers from the linebacker position, will be returning to the San Francisco 49ers, but I think we're okay with that. I like DFF personally. I think he's a great guy. He's been a great teammate for everyone on the San Francisco 49ers. But they got Oren Burks, who they are very high on, and I'm high on as well, to be the LB3, and then the guy who's going to slide in and be the primary special teamer uh, is also going to be Marcelino McCrary Ball. So, and they're probably going to go back to the well again and find another stud undrafted free agent linebacker out of the heap, and they're going to be all right. So the two moves today that the 49ers they got nickel cornerback in Isaiah Oliver. They grab former top 5 draft pick in Clellan Farrell at defensive end. They let DFF hit the open market. And as we know, Omenihu leaves, Brunskill leaves, Ebukam leaves, Al-Shair leaves, uh, Mosley leaves, but they get back. They get back Brendel. They add Darnold. They add Hargrave. They lose Jimmy Ward. They lose Hassan Ridgeway. They lose Jimmy Garoppolo, Mike McGlinchey, but retain Kevin Givens as well. So they've been doing work. They've been doing work. A lot of stuff going on, and I don't think the 49ers are done yet. Again, we still think there are still positions of need. I think, again, the defense is still a priority to me. I think the offense is feeling better in regards to bringing Brendel back was huge. You've got Colton McKivitz to slide in at right tackle. Not bad. Tight end 2 is still in need. Outside of that, you've got your quarterback in Sam Darnold. Offense is in pretty good shape, I'd say, right now. The next thing it's still the defense. Couple more defensive ends. If you could make a splash signing at safety, I think that would be fire. They got their nickel cornerback, maybe some more depth on outside corner. We're going to rock with Diamador Lenore as our starting outside corner across from Charvarius Ward. Maybe get another depth guy that could come in and then turn to the draft for other needs. So I think the 49ers are pretty close to, they're maybe a couple signings away from feel to be able to kind of be all right with where they stand. So it is going to be interesting. Hopefully, we get one more big splash move, but we might not. We might get a couple small moves uh, from here on out, and but I think the roster is starting to fall into place. I think there was some panic that was going on yesterday, and of course, on social media, it's bound to happen. Some early onset panic that the roster was getting worse and not getting better. I think they've done a really good job. I don't think they're done, but so far I think they've done a really good job of being able to smartly play their cards right in regards to who is going to go and how to refill some of those holes. Uh, and again, we still got the draft. There's still 11 picks. They still have ammunition to move up in the draft. They have ammunition to go trade for a proven player if they wanted to. So I'm a big fan so far of how the San Francisco 49ers have been going about building this roster. I think they've done a pretty phenomenal job in addressing a lot of the needs. And again, in typical Niner fashion, one big splash signing, and then they've been able to kind of, uh, you know, fill in the gaps with some high upside, low risk type prospects. And the 49ers have found a really nice formula with that. And again, with all these players that are leaving, Uh, the 49ers are gonna get a hell of a lot of comp picks, man. Uh, I know we had 7 comp picks this year. Uh, be be excited because we are going to have more comp picks next year. Um, in regards to these guys getting signed in free agency. So, and the 49ers are going to have a first round draft pick next year. So, it's going to be weird. We're going to have a first and a second. It's going to be a weird world to live in where the San Francisco 49ers have early picks, but a lot of them. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it. They've done I'm pretty pleased. So my mic cut out again, but thankfully I'm on StreamYard, so we have a literally zero point 0.3 second fix to get it back on track. Uh, Detail says Brendel, Gibson, and Givens all officially announced per Jennifer Lee Chan, and we are good. Yeah, dude, I don't know why it just mutes. What's going on here? I need to get my producers on this ASAP. This is unacceptable. My producers are getting fired. They're getting the pink slip right after this. I'm letting them know on air that they are getting canned. These dang 49ers streamers can't get their stuff together. Boxing fan, and I can pull up super chats. Look at that. What a time to be alive. If you've had two, who would you trade? Wait, if you had two, who would you trade to get into the first? Again, full disclosure, guys, I have ADHD. So when things are typed interestingly, my brain sometimes has a really hard time processing. So I might have to read this like 7 more times to really understand what's being asked to me. If you had 2, who would you trade to get into the first? If I had 2 or TO? If I had 2 or TO, because that is my mind is having a woo! If you had 2, I think TO, if you had 2, who would you trade TO, get in TO the first? Okay, the 2s threw me off. The number 2 just made my brain go into a straight up stroke. I'm sorry, that's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. I have this brain, words and numbers, like, whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry about that. All right, back on track. I get what you're saying. Okay. Who would I trade to get up into the first? Who would I get in the first round? Um, if I could get up into the first round, ooh, that's a good question. Skoronsky would be someone that I would have interest in. I haven't done a whole lot of first round study. Skoronsky would be someone that would be interesting to me to come in and play right tackle because I think he's a day one starter and could be a really, really good player. Um, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Uh, let's see. My ADHD is fully enhanced at the moment. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Good times, man. If your kids have learning disabilities, go easy on them. All right. I got my list in front of me. Now I can actually, use my brain like a functioning human person. Alright. If I had to trade, a couple names that I would be interested in, uh, Nolan Smith out of Georgia would be interesting to me. Uh, Darrell Wright out of Tennessee, tackle would be interesting to me. JSN would be interesting to me. Dalton Kincaid. Um, I like Zay Flowers, but I don't know if I'd go up into the first to get Zay Flowers. Lucas Van Ness might be high on my list of guys that I would target out of Iowa. Jordan Addison's interesting, but I don't know if I'd take a receiver. Um, Peter Skoronski's still high on my list. Um, Miles Murphy would be interesting to me. Quentin Johnson, I like. Ooh, Tyree Wilson would be nice as well. Uh, Tyree Wilson would be nice. Ooh. Oh, maybe Tyree. All right. Shout out for the journey that we were just taking on from Boxing Fan. I appreciate it. And I apologize to any one of you who had to follow along uh, with what just occurred. But hey, it happens from time to time. Ah, but I'm having a good time. You can't mess me up. Oh, he dropped another super chat. Uh, oh, and of course, I completely messed up the question. Cynthia said, "Two, two, 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 two." Okay, thank you for clarifying. No, what players would I trade to get into the first? Ooh, I don't know if I would trade any players to get into the first, to be honest with you. Uh, I don't know if I would. No, everything's not okay, but we're gonna pretend like it's okay. I don't know if I would. I would trade picks to get up. I would trade. I feel like I would trade players for other players. I don't know if I would trade. I don't know if I would trade any players right now to go up into the first because the top players that I think would have value would be Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, um, Diamador, but you're probably not trading Diamador. Um, Scanning through the roster in my head, yeah, you don't have a ton of pieces that you really want to get rid of, unless you're just trying to move off someone that I'm not thinking of. But I really think that the top two guys that would do anything would be Ayuk and Elijah Mitchell. But I don't think you're trading either of those guys to go up into the draft. Maybe, but I wouldn't. I would definitely trade picks to move up. I wouldn't necessarily trade players. Um, I would do player for player or player picks for player. Um, but that's just kind of how I roll. There's no players that I can really see at this time that have the value you need, and guys that you'd really want to part ways with, unless you're trying to cut salary somewhere or something like that. But I think right now, uh, if you want to make a splash trade, Brandon Ayuk is your highest valued asset at the moment. Um, you saw earlier Jerry Judy. The Broncos are trying to trade Judy for a first, uh, and the reason why I asked that question is like if they're trying to get a first for Judy, what is Ayuk worth? Ayuk's gotta be double what Judy is. If they're trying to get a first for Judy, Judy's one of the most overrated prospects I've ever seen. Not that he's not good, he's supremely talented as a route runner, but that's kinda it. And you would be like, "Well, what else do you need to be a wide receiver other than a if you're elite route runner, well, there's a lot more that you need to be." Uh, so, um, if they're trying to fetch a first for Judy, Ayuk could command 2 firsts. He's gotta be double the value of what he is. But I don't know if we wanna trade Ayuk. I don't know if that's an option. I hate you, Detail. I'm gonna have another stroke on live. I'm gonna have another I love it. You know I love you, man. Harold says, "Brad, who's the best available free agent left on the board?" Ooh, that's a good question too. Uh, I mean, I think Yannick is up there. I think, uh, Khalil could be up there. Orlando Brown is definitely up there. I wonder what the interest is going to be for Orlando Brown. His market's been pretty quiet. Haven't really heard a whole lot about that. Dalton Schultz is still up there. I think Chauncey Gardner Johnson, for being 25 years old, he's got to be up there at the top. There's still some good. There's OBJ's out there. Jadeveon Clowney just became made available officially. Um, there's still a I think Caleb McGrary is still out there. I'm not sure if he got signed. He's still out there. There's still players, man. There's still guys. Dalton Reisner. Uh, so there's a good amount of quality free agents left. McGarry signed. Where did he sign with? I didn't even see that one come through. That one probably went right over my head. He re-signed with ATL. Nice. Didn't see that. But in regards to the San Francisco 49ers, it would be interesting to see what their board looks like and who they're potentially interested in. I didn't mention Slay. Obviously, Slay's up there. But I am very intrigued by Gardner Johnson now. Chauncey. I am intrigued by Chauncey and his fit with the San Francisco 49ers because he's clearly a physical but athletic safety. And hey, I like Gibson a lot, but I would also like to have an athletically, physically gifted safety who's 25 years old as well. Uh, I'm interested to see if they would think he is a personality fit in the locker room. But hey, you got Hargrave on the roster now. Hargrave knows all about Chauncey. There's some insight into a player. Give Hargrave a call. Be like, what's the deal with Chauncey? Is he worth giving a big time contract to at his age based on the production that he just had? Is he worth it? Because he's been traded and he's been moved. He's been on multiple teams, uh, and he's still 25. So that to me, that speaks to kind of character concerns. And I know the 49ers hold that in a high regard. And I think it could be enough that they don't move on a guy. So would be interesting. but I'm kind of moving more towards that area of maybe the 49ers have made their one and only big signing, and then pretty much everyone that we see from here on out are kind of your 1 and 2 year deals for kind of depth pieces, guys that could potentially uh, play bigger roles down the road, um, or they're holding out on us. They're sitting on a they're sitting on something nice. They're sitting on a trade. They're sitting on a Zadarius Smith type move, which would be fantastic. I would love that. Um, but yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. The 49ers have done pretty good job surprising us so far in this free agency period. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. Wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. Imagine if we got Bijan Robinson, having Bijan, CMC, and Elijah Mitchell. That's a lot of quality running backs with Jordan Mason, Ascension. That would be crazy. How many third round picks are we going to have? Well, we have 3 right now. How many are we going to have when it's all said and done? I'm hoping 1. I really am. I'm hoping 1. So this is how I've been doing my mocks. This is how I've been doing my mocks. I'll give away my trade secrets of how I've been kind of structuring them. I'm taking 1/3 round pick plus a couple 5th and 6th rounders. I'm using that to trade up into about the 75, 80, 85 range to be able to get a better quality player than I would get at 99. So I'm taking 99, I'm flopping it with some 5th, 6th rounders to push up into about 75 to 85 pick range. Then I'm using 101. I'm making the pick at 101, but then with my 102, I'm trading back because the 49ers have a gap, a pretty decent sized gap from I think 102 to what is it? It's like the 150s around there. So I'm taking the 102, I'm trading back into about 125, getting those mid-round picks that I traded to move up back, and then taking a better quality player there, and then potentially using more of those picks to package someone else, to package for someone else or package for other picks. So that's the thing. The 49ers have an opportunity to be moving up and down all over the place. So that's kind of how I'm treating it. I don't necessarily want to go basically back to back to back with the third rounders. I'd like to move up and get someone, take someone at that third round spot, and then I'd like to trade back a little bit to even recoup more picks or another player. So I want to move all around. Right now they got 3. I don't know if they'll end up with 3. And I saw something earlier that they like talked about the value of the picks, and I might be misquoting it, but potentially I think if you take the all 3 of those third round picks, they effectively have an equal value to pick 18 in the first round. So if that is true, and that was from some like analytical value site or something that they do, I don't even remember 100%. But just saying hypothetically, you take all 3 of your third rounders, could you get into the first round? Maybe. Could you definitely get into the high seconds? So it'll be interesting to see. The big areas that I think the 49ers need to draft, right tackle to me is one. I think the 49ers need to get a right tackle. Uh, I have been interested in getting a cornerback, but I think that's got to shift to safety. I think drafting a safety is going to be crucial. So right tackle, safety, and I'm still high on edge. So those are my top three positional needs in the draft for the 49ers. Right tackle, edge, safety. Uh, Probably not too far behind that is tight end. Probably not too far behind that is utility O line. So that's why I like Nick Saldiveri. Nick Saldiveri can play right tackle, can play guard, can play center. We don't have Brunskill anymore. So get me a utility offensive lineman. Give me a guy who I can move up and down. Uh, Obviously, the right tackle, I want him to be a tackle. I don't want him shifting. You can play right tackle, left tackle. I don't care, but I want you to be a tackle only. My utility guy, I want him to be able to play all over the place. Uh, and I know who he is. It's Nick Saldiveri out of Old Dominion. Get him in the 5th round. Maybe if you get him in the 4th round, I'd be okay with that too. But he's my utility guy. I want a tight end in the draft. What other positions do I want in the draft? Wide receiver. I want another wide receiver, but I want like a sixth round wide receiver. I think you can find guys in the 6th round, man. You can find the diamonds in the 6th round. I think that works. Jamie Robinson is a good prospect. He would be fire. He would be phenomenal. Why does my mic cut out, man? He's big. He moves. Oh, that's I like Mingo, man. Mingo is smooth. He's smooth. He also met with the San Francisco 49ers. I got a chance to talk to him at the combine. Good interview. He's met with the 49ers, and he's smooth. He can do a lot of things. He can beat you deep. He can beat you short to intermediate, and he can beat you from behind the line of scrimmage. Uh, I like Mingo. I like Mingo a lot. How about kicker? We need to address kicker. I'm okay. I'm okay if you want to spend a 6th rounder on a kicker. When you got 11 picks, I'm okay with the 6th round kicker. I'm okay with the 6th round kicker. I don't love the idea of a 5th round kicker. I hate the idea of a 4th round kicker. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. I know a lot of people like Jake Moody out of Michigan. He's good. I don't want to overdraft on a kicker. I will draft a kicker, but again, I don't want to overdraft on a kicker. I love Mitch Wishnowsky. I think Mitch Wishnowsky is a phenomenal putter. He fit what the 49ers are looking for. He's good. He's valued in NFL circles where he was taken around the 4th round. Because if you don't remember, like I think the 49ers were competing with Belichick on who's going to get a punter the soonest. Because punter took or not punter. Belichick took a punter right after the 49ers did, but still in my mind, taking a punter in the 4th is really rich for me. I love Mitch, but still the 4th rounder. Whew, you get some good players in the 4th round, man. So, but Mitch has done his job. He comes in, he kicks the ball. He's really good at what he does. He's really good at He's really good at the technical things that we might not see or notice. But he's a good technical punter. when it comes to ball spin, accuracy, hang time. He's a good punter. So I'll give him that. But I don't want to take a kicker in the 4th round. I don't want to take a kicker in the 5th round. Eh. But I'll take a kicker. Cynthia says 181 watching, only 54 likes. Smash that like button. Yeah, we get this thing up to 100. Considering it's our 2nd live, and my mic keeps cutting out. Someone said get a new mic. It's not my mic. It's not my mic. That's not the problem. It's something else. It's something else that's a problem, and I got to figure it out. Because that sucked. We were cooking on the other live earlier. For sure. And then they cut the mic on me and couldn't get it back. Halo theme music. Facts. Hey, I'm not just nothing that I've said is hating on Mitch. Mitch himself, fantastic. Love Mitch. I don't like the value of taking a punter in the 4th. That's all it is. It's two completely different ideologies. That's it. Can we still afford Robbie Gould? Probably. I don't know if I want to because he's probably going to want more than $5 million a year. I don't know if I want to pay again. It's like an economics conversation. Like, how much do you really want to pay? And it's just like, oh yes, Gold is clutch, and you want clutch kickers, and you don't want to, but they're gonna have to replace him eventually. It's gonna have to happen. And I like to get younger, and I don't want to have, unfortunately, Robbie when his leg falls off mid-year, and they've paid him and have to figure out something else. So he's on again. That's the thing where my ageism as a roster builder starts coming into play. I'm like, man, this dude's 40. Yes, have we seen Vinatieri? I think kicked till he's 48. So it's happened. It's not like it hasn't happened. And it's not like he can't do it. But I feel like he's losing a little bit of like strength, distance. He's still accurate, but I don't know. Again, it's more of a value conversation for me. Brad, what do you think about is his name Kalaya? Cansey in the 1st. Some people down on him because he's undersized. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of I haven't watched a lot of them. I think I've seen some of the clips that you've posted, and I think some of the clips that you've posted, I'm like, oh, whoa. So I'm not an undersized. To me, you can play or you can't. I don't subscribe to this guy's too small or this guy's too thin or this guy's. I don't care. Again, you can either play or you can't. I don't care how big you are. I had to deal with the same conversation with Aaron Donald. I had to deal with the same conversation with Brian Burns. I don't care about his size. He can either play or he can't play. And so far, I think from some of the clips you've seen or you've posted, I'm like, oh, that dude is fast. Like, fast. And he's got moves. First step. He's got some strength from what I've seen behind it. Again, I don't have enough study on him to be able to like give you like, yeah, the 49ers should go up and get him. But from what you've posted, I see the speed. And again, I am not I don't knock on anyone for their size unless it shows up on tape. And that's the problem is people will still hold size against them even if it doesn't show up on tape. Um, again, you can be height challenged, weight challenged, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you can play, you can play. That's it. That's it. An argument. Watch the tape. So Cansey looks like a guy who can play. He looks like a guy that's not going to be a problem. Um, not going to be a problem. So I'm not worried about that. Um, to me, the size argument is it's a crutch for people who don't really just individually evaluate each prospect as their own. Don't don't let don't let the measurables be the end all be all. Yes, do you want certain traits at certain spots and certain things at certain spots? Yeah, you can have preferences and things like that. But there's always going to be that one guy who breaks the mold. And don't be the guy who passes on the guy who breaks the mold because he'll make you look silly. Um, same thing with, Brock Purdy. Got knocked for his size, but you either can play or you can't play. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's about playing. Um, so I'm excited though. I'll tell you that. As we kind of wrap up what we've talked about today, and again, we'll go live again if there's additional signings or additional moves. Um, but what I am really starting to get excited about is the combination of free agency and the draft coming together. Is we know how we know what the holes are. Before our mock drafts and what we were doing, we're guessing at what we think the 49ers need. We have a much better idea of what we think the 49ers need because we can see it gone. We know who's come back. We know who they've added, and we know where the holes are. And in a couple more days, we're going to have a much better idea of what the needs are going to be heading into the draft. So this is where the offseason starts to get exciting for me. Because you guys know, like what do we got? We got about 2 months until the draft, and that means we're gonna have 2 months of grinding tape, 2 months of turning over prospects and really getting to understand these prospects. For me in this process, because I'm so late into it, what I've kind of been doing is the combine was phenomenal. If I would have went to the Senior Bowl would have been even better. Uh, and again, just a reminder, I should go to the Senior Bowl next year just to have the knowledge, because it's about building these profiles, and you don't have to build a profile in a vacuum in one night. You can build it over time. So for me, I'm just building profiles of all these guys, and I'm slowly adding to the evaluation. The combine was huge. Getting to talk to these guys was huge. Getting to know them on that level, getting to understand their game a little bit more is going to help me build out these prospect profiles coming up into the draft. So we know the holes, we know what the needs are, we know how they like to kind of identify some prospects and some of the kind of player archetypes that they're looking for. And so I'm excited to find those players. That's part of the process, man, is figuring out who do they like? What are the traits that they tend to go back to the well on? Where are the trends within the traits? And then re basically how do we find those types of traits in the prospects coming up and then plug them in? Um, so far, been pretty good at it. They definitely don't pick always the guys that I like. That's definitely for sure. The 49ers have proven to me time and time again that they are out of the box thinkers when it comes to the draft. They are not going to go with the guy that you think they're going to go with probably 80% of the time. So keeps me on my toes. Definitely looking forward to all that though. But so far, 49ers doing a good job. Free agency, drafts rolling around. It's going to be full-blown draft season here pretty soon. And we're going to see if the San Francisco 49ers are going to add any more players to the mix. Going to be an interesting one. But appreciate you guys, as always, for tapping in. Feels like we're starting to get excited about some 49ers football. Smash that like button on your way out. Sub if you haven't already. And, of course, have those notification bells on. So hopefully you don't miss when we go live or when we post other content. Appreciate you guys, as always. Might not be the last time you see me, especially if they make another move. But I appreciate you guys. I might do an IG live later just to check in. But appreciate you guys. I'm out for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.